So I think it's up to us to focus on these new leaders because no one else is doing it anyways.
Laura, I want to get in this question with you. You were a huge proponent of Issue 6. That passed. Now you've got the election coming up in November, and you've got a number of people putting their name into the hat to run for that office. And I'll just, again, I'll be a little bit of a doubting Thomas here in saying, I don't necessarily believe there's anyone who's put their name out, or as potentially could be a name, like a Semperman, a Renane, or a Rakakis, who has the capability to form a new government. Do you agree or disagree?
I think that the hard work is still ahead of us. I would agree with that, and I do not have comfort that we as a community of, what are we, 1.4 million people in Cuyahoga County, are anywhere close to organized to take on what we have given ourselves. That being said, there's no rules for how we're going to do it, and it's only going to be up to people like us to determine how it's going to be. So if we don't come to the plate and participate in the campaigns, in trying to set a community dialogue about how are we going to operate and what's important, then we're really, it's 1.4 million people who are to blame, not whoever puts their name on the ballot. But I have to go back to say the Power 100 is the past. It is a list of people with positional power. And positional power, by term of your title at your company, does not connote person of influence and leader in a community. They are two totally different things, and until this community as a whole comes to understand that positional power has nothing to do with leadership, we will not move forward together.
Great.
All right, last question on leadership, and I'll throw, you can apply. So, one last question on leadership, just real quickly if you could answer it. And of course, now that I've asked this last question, it totally evaporated from my mind, but
okay.
We'll come back to that question, shall we?
Extra time we're gonna have.
I should have written that damn thing down. We've obviously done this panel before, and I asked everyone to give a vision for what you think Cleveland could be in the future. And a lot of things have changed since that period of time, which is, November of last year. So before we get into your vision statement, I'll ask this to everyone on the panel. Is Cleveland working, or is it not working?
Yes.
Holistically.
Yes, absolutely, it's
Right,
working.
I'm not the enemy, I'm just asking the question.
I'm tired of this question. It's like we're going to break off and float into Lake Erie or something, People come here because they love the things about this region. They love the opportunities. They love the way that they can enjoy their life here in places where they can't elsewhere. They love the fact that their money goes a little further here. They love the fact that we have world-class resources here, that you can work and raise a family here. They love all the things about this. The economy, obviously, is a problem. Education is a problem. We tend to dwell on these, as we should, because we need to work on them and fix them.
But they're national problems.
They're
it's
national
not
problems.
like they're
Right.
specific to Cleveland. These are things that if we could solve it, my gosh, we'd be the coolest city in the universe. Because education, public education.
I think we are.
Well, everyone would know that we're the coolest. But, really, in terms, I think the city is working fine. It's the nature of being a city, an urban core environment in the United States, which is the challenge. So we have to understand that things that might not be working as well as we want to, we're all in this together. I mean, Cleveland is, the thing that fascinates me is the idea of mid-sized cities. We're a city where there's not 6 degrees of separation. There's 1, maybe 2 degrees separation between people from, the most obscure person, that, an 8-year-old walking down the street right now on St. Clair, and you have a 1, maybe 2 degree separation. They know somebody who knows you. And that is a huge strength. I mean, we are very alluring to people from big cities who come here, I think, for the reasons Thomas was talking about, but also people coming from a smaller city. We're manageable, we're very sophisticated culturally and diversity-wise, but we're not somewhere where you feel like you're just going to be run over by a train. I was talking to a fellow who was driving the trolley bus from Geauga County, who looked at Cleveland like, oh my God, it's this big city. And what it ended up is we were just talking to him and telling him, oh my goodness, you have to get downtown and this and that and the other and all the great things. I have yet, other than the people who write in to Cleveland.com, which is like a
It's
train
about 60
wreck
people.
that you gotta read it once in a while to freak you out. But everyone is so positive in the city. Everyone, they're friendly. Like you said, you can talk to the CEO who will say, "Oh, you need a problem with this? Well, let me tell you where to go, or I can help you directly." Or just anyone on the street for any reason. That is something that is very special. I think it's very special to us, even more than other cities.
Well, before we get to the Q&A, I'll ask everyone on the panel your vision for the city of Cleveland. I'll start with you, Laura. We'll just work our way down.
So my vision for the city of Cleveland is that when people actually say they're from Cleveland, and we find a way to make Cleveland be where everyone from Cuyahoga County actually is.
Amen.
Yeah, I think I like this graphic of somebody maybe in the center of Cleveland using binoculars to see their future, because I think it's in the region. I don't think it is Cleveland. I don't think it is Cuyahoga County. I think we're kind of stuck on ourselves around here. We talk in the same circles. And I'm telling you, there are entrepreneurs, there are families, there are thriving cities in this region. And we need to learn how to compete as a region, because we don't compete with the suburb versus the city. We don't compete, suburban, urban, rural. We compete with other regions around the world, in Thailand and in China. And we're still not recognizing that. We talk it a good game, we're giving it lip service, but especially here in Cleveland, I want to challenge the folks that are here. We have a very metrocentric view of our future and who we are, and I think our vision is that we lose that we realize that we are all in this together, all the way from here to Pittsburgh even, and beyond Pittsburgh. I mean, this region needs to get together. We call it the freshwater region. I don't know what you want to call it, because we all have the same issues, the same exact issues, and it's almost like we sit here going, "Wow, this city has a," and they're having the same damn conversation right now in Toledo and Detroit. I guarantee you. And so we need to get over that and realize that if we don't take a regional approach, we're going to continue with this for years and years.
I don't think any city anywhere right now is immune to the issues that a lot of us are having. I think that and I'll speak to Cleveland because that's where I'm from, but we need to stop blaming everything else for the reason as to why things aren't working right now. Roll up our sleeves and get busy. I mean, I like Steelyard Commons as an example for a lot of things, and you couldn't put a shovel in the ground there, 8 years ago, and now it's like the coolest little shopping mall plaza in the area, and I'm down there all the time, and we go down there for lunch, we go down there for shopping. That's great. Repurposing things that used to be used for something else is something I'm a big proponent of. When we're talking about building a casino downtown right now, why not use the Huntington building right across the street here? How cool would that be? It's got these big, huge arches. That could just be phenomenal. They're going to move to the BP building in a couple years, where they just bought the rights to. Why not make that the casino in Cleveland? It would ignite the Euclid Avenue corridor, this whole region that they spent 3 years working on, and it basically killed every business that was open on there. Mm-hmm. Why not turn that back into something cool again? Let's repurpose what we've got instead of pretending that we still make widgets and things like that. Let's get inventive here.
Super regions, I think that's completely the answer. Our Great Lake region really needs to get together. We need to kind of figure out what the hierarchy of where we are a super region, where we are a northeastern Ohio region, and where we are as a city. Because the bottom line is Cleveland, even though Cleveland is the leader of this region, and we can't just say everything is equal. As leadership, there comes a lot of responsibility, and we have to be able to kind of take the reins and guide on the right points. The art is what's the right points. In terms of Cleveland, I want this to be a city where people think of as fun and where they think of as easy and livable. And we've got to get our hand on public transportation. We have to see what the promise of the school situation and getting public education together. Mm-hmm. And I think certain things are coming. I think people living downtown, how to make their lives easier. The people who live in the suburbs, how to make their lives easier. The question I've never heard is, what can we do to make life easier for our people who live here? When we start kind of thinking along those lines, I think we'll see some changes in ways we haven't.
Very cool. Well, thanks to the panel. We're going to break for questions in just a second, but I've been told I have a few announcements, so I will put on my best AM radio voice and get lower. Right.